I talked about it before that my son, he's in ninth grade at this point in time, and we put basically $400 a month. Like after we were done reducing our expenses, we were able to put $400 a month into his college savings account. We invested the money for him, 400 bucks consistently for about 7, 8 years. And now it's done. The money is making money on top of the money on top of the money. It's just making more and more and more and more money, right? Every month, paying dividends and things of that nature and growth. And now it's going to be to the point where when he graduates, he should be going to school with no debt at all. But why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because the little things that you feel like is not really going to move the needle for you are going to move the needle for you. It was money and consistency, and obviously picking the right mutual funds that we picked for him to invest. But goes back to what I was saying a second ago. If you have a 200 or 300 bucks extra that you can then put into the market or put into a vehicle that's going to make a dent in your financial future, don't think that that's a little bit of money. Hey, family, this is Che Willis coming back with another episode of Wealth is a Journey podcast. Guys, this is episode 159, 159 weeks of consistency, 159 weeks of getting it done. We out in these podcast streets. Guys, I say it every week, man, and Wealth is a Journey is moving and shaking. We are having more and more opportunities. Just talked to somebody this week who wants me to come in and talk to their church about financial literacy, and they are going to pay me for it, man. So I'm super excited, man, because I get to do something that I love to do, which is talking about financial literacy and opening people's eyes to what's possible. Because the conversation about wealth building, the conversation about financial literacy, the conversation about how money works is not talked about enough, especially in our community. And being able to open people's eyes to what's possible for them and their families is something that I thoroughly enjoy, man. So very excited about that. And we got some more stuff coming up, man. And I'm excited to where God is bringing us to and where He's brought us from. And it's up. So thank you, man. Thank you. Anyway, if you are a first-time listener, watcher, subscriber, thank you so much for joining us on this podcast. We talk about faith, family, and finances, among other things. If you are a return listener, watcher, subscriber, thank you so much for joining us again. Hopefully, we are adding value to your lives on the way to the M's, because we are 1,000% on the way to the M's. And you may say, Che Willis, what are the M's? The M's are millions, millions in assets. But how are we going to get there? That's the most important thing. We are going to get there by reducing our expenses. We are going to take that pile of cash from reducing our expenses. We're going to take that money, march it out into the marketplace, and make us some money babies. And that's exactly how we're going to do it, man. And these last couple of weeks, we've been on a mission to kind of slow down and take it step by step by step on how we can get you to your desired financial result. Meaning, tracking your spending, telling your money where to go, giving every dollar a name, avoid the spending leaks, different things of that nature. And all of these things are leading up to having you set up a budget. Now, I will tell you that if you do not know how to set up a budget, I do have free information on my website, wealthisajourney.com, as well as on my YouTube channel in the playlist area. There's a 7-step course, does not cost you anything. It's completely free. It'll take you step by step by step. And it also gives you a budget demo on how to set up a budget using the free stuff that I have on my website. Again, does not cost you a dime. No charge means no excuse for you not to get it, not to have it, and not to know it. So a lot of people that do budgets, a lot of times when I talk to them, they say, "Hey, I tried that before." And what that tells me as the person who does budgets for people and shows you how to do it is that you are not doing it properly. What do I mean by that? Just because you have your income, you have your expenses, that is not doing a budget. It is kind of, but not the type that I'm talking about. I talked about earlier that we are going to reduce our expenses, right? And we have to shift our mindset to I'm just going to pay my bills and then whatever money is left over, I'm going to blow it. That is a lot of our story. And I'm not throwing stones because I did it at one point in time as well. But then understood that if I want to make a dent in my financial future, meaning being able to save and invest for the future, then I'm going to have to do some things different. Uh, Regular people, the way that they do their money is okay, what can I spend based on what I have left over? Wealth builders think, what can I invest based on what I have left over? But before we get too far ahead, how do we get to the leftover part is the question. So after you're doing all of your expenses, and let's just say you have $100 left over, what I'm recommending you do is something called the debt snowball. And that's based on you having a at least $1,000 or a $1,500 emergency fund. If you do not have one of those, I'm going to take a pause for a second. If you do not have an emergency fund, meaning that if something happens emergency related, that's something that you did not expect to come up, an unexpected expense. And if you are the mindset of, I'm just going to swipe a credit card, that's my emergency fund, that is a recipe for financial disaster because that thing is going to end up costing you more money over time because you didn't set aside money for the emergency fund. So let's just say whatever it is costs you $1,000, the emergency, and your credit card is 28%. The likelihood of you paying that credit card off before the $1,000 is paid off is very low, just based on your financial situation at this point in time. So that's going to cost you 28% on top of the $1,000, and it will continue to charge you 28% on the balance every month. So that emergency is going to continually knock you in the head. This is the reason why we need to set up our emergency fund first. So if you have $100 left over and your budget is super tight and you're not doing any frivolous spending, you're not going out to eat, and you're not doing all these things, then what I will recommend first before you start reducing your expenses is setting up an emergency fund. So the emergency fund is going to be anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 bucks put away into an account for emergencies. And then I'm going to unpause now. And now we're going to get to reducing our expenses. So let's just say you have the $1,000 to $1,500 left over from you saving the money away, the $100 that you have left over after you're paying out all your expenses from your income, right? Now what we're going to do is you're going to pay your minimum payments, and then you're going to take that $100 and then you're going to pay down your smallest debt first. The reason that we're doing that is we are trying to create momentum, and that momentum is going to carry us into continually reducing your expenses. It's also going to give you a sense of accomplishment. The reason that a lot of people say that, yes, I tried that budget thing before, is because we're not accomplishing anything. We're just spending money or we're paying bills. That's it. And then we have money left over for ourselves and then we just blow the money. If you shift your mindset into reducing your expenses and paying things down, you're going to do a couple different things. You're going to have a sense of accomplishment and you're going to save yourself money over time. Why do I say that? Remember that 28% credit card that I was just talking about? You are going to save yourself money by paying those things down. So you're not paying the 28% anymore, or whatever the percentage is that you're paying to the bank. You're not going to have to do that anymore. You're now going to be able to be in a position where you're doing now what wealthy people do. And that's making the money babies. That's investing in assets, building your net worth, if that's a thing for you. So that's what wealthy people focus on. They focus on, how can I build my financial future by buying assets? So that little shift instead of spending the leftovers, how can I put those leftovers to work for me? And putting the money to work means that we are either reducing our expenses, or building an emergency fund, or we're investing it. That's putting the money to work. The reason that we're talking about this, man, and I think a lot of us can uh, identify with what I'm about to say. I went through two different situations with two different family members that kind of scarred me a little bit. If we're being honest, right? My grandmother passed away in 2017, I believe it was, and sweetest lady ever, Marie Booth, my heart. So I lived with her pretty much from the time I was in elementary school all the way up to high school. And she worked hard as she was a basically a maid, right? If you know, in layman's terms, she was a maid. She took care of people's houses. One family in particular that treated her really well, but she didn't put money away for herself, and that's because she didn't know to. But the thing about it is that during the back end of her life, she didn't get the care that I felt like she deserved based on however many people that she took care of in throughout her lifetime, if that makes sense. So she took care of everybody, and because the finances weren't there to be able to you know, give her the care again that I believe she deserved. My mom took care of her through having her getting taken care of by, you know, different nurses and things like that. But she wanted to stay home. But I wanted her to have like top-notch care, things of that nature. And I'm sure my mom did as well, but the finances just were not there to be able to do that. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, if that killed me to see her not in the top tier of care, how's that going to make my son feel? You know, things of that nature. So what I started doing is I started putting money away, so my asset level is going up. So if I ever need care on the back end of my life, I'm going to have the top level care, as well as being able to uh, enjoy the money and enjoy the things that I'm working for. Also, my dad, the same thing. He passed away a year after my grandmother. And the thing about it is that he was in a facility that I hated going to, because again, he wasn't, in my opinion, from based on the facility that he was in, didn't receive the level of care that I felt like he should have had. Again, my mother did the best that she could with the resources that she had to be able to take care of the thing, but I wasn't even in a position to be able to give him money, but I was willing to give the little bit of money that I did have. But at the end of the day, at that point in time, it still wasn't enough to be able to, you know, give him the level of care that I thought that he deserved, if that makes sense. So at this point in time, my mission is to make sure that my son doesn't feel the way that I did, among other things. But that's just one of the things that is a driver for me, is to build up my nest egg enough where the nest egg is then laying more little eggs to be able to take care of me and my wife and any other need that we have. And so if you can identify with that, if you have a family member that you're currently looking at now and you're seeing them receiving not necessarily the level of care that you believe that they should have or deserve or whatever the case may be, that should be a driver for you alone to get your finances in order, because there's going to come a point in time in your life where you may not be able to take care of yourself, or you may have to take care of somebody else. And what better way to be able to take care of them if is if your finances are already in order and you're ready to write a check or be able to write a check and say, "Here, get that taken care of." So the money is not necessarily just for us to be selfish. The money's not there for us to just be hoarders of it and just saying, "Oh, well, look at me, I have all this or that," or whatever the case may be. But it's also there for you to be able to take care of things that God leads you to be able to take care of. Because honestly, if I had the money, here you go. That facility over there. I don't care how much it costs. Let's go. So we're not, again, the budget piece, we're not uh budgeting just to hoard the money, and we're not just budgeting just to be cheap or anything like that. And I've said it multiple weeks in a row, but we're trying to make our money make us money so we can live the lives that we deserve. We work hard. The money, the additional monies that we make through raises, or if we're entrepreneurs and we're getting new contracts and things of that nature, it's not the time to continuously live your best life when you don't have money put away for the future. I'm gonna say that again. It's not the time to live your best life continuously if you have no money put away for the future. So I want to make sure I make that distinction, because people think a lot of times when I talk, I'm saying that I don't want you to live your best life. I do. But I don't want you to live your best life if you living your best life is is a detriment to your future life. So, what I'm recommending for you to do, your homework for this week, because I feel like we're on a theme where I want to give you something to be able to do so you can start living your best life. So your homework for this week is when you're setting your budget up, I want you to put the money that's left over to work. We're putting the leftover money to work. We're not just going to blow it. We are going to put the money to work. And the reason that we're doing that is because we need to see results. The more results we see, the easier it's going to be for us to continue to take action, consistently take action. And then when we look up, we'll see that we have multiple bills paid down. So when all of the bills are paid down eventually, we're going to have a pile of money to do a lot of the cool to have things. We're going to be able to go on the nice trips. We're going to be able to do home upgrades. We're going to be able to send our kids away to college and on trips and do all those different things without it being a burden to us when we get the bill in, because the thing will already be paid for before we go. It'll already be written, it'll already be taken care of. So hopefully what I'm saying makes sense. We're not just saying that we're budgeting, because a lot of us are. We're saying, yes, I'm budgeting. Yes, I tried that. No, you didn't. If you're not reducing your expenses, if you're not setting yourself up, then all you're doing is paying bills. So let's do something about our financial situation that we are currently in. We're not going to sit around and complain about our situation, because a lot of us are. We have to do something about it. I say it almost every week, like nobody's coming to save us. So we have to take control of our financial future. We have to be better stewards over our finances. The way that we can do that is start putting our money to work. And again, when I say putting our money to work, reducing our expenses, setting up the emergency fund, and investing the money into assets that are eventually going to pay us later on down the line and bring us a return. That's what we're looking to do. So hopefully I shed some light on things that you may have been doing currently that you can change. And these small little tweaks that you're going to make are going to make a huge difference in your financial future. And you may feel like, well, it's not going to help if I'm only saving, 200-300 bucks. It's not going to help, but it is. That 200 or 300 bucks over time is going to pay huge dividends. The last thing I'll leave you with is I talked about it before that my son, he's in ninth grade at this point in time, and we put basically $400 a month. Like after we were done reducing our expenses, we were able to put $400 a month into his college savings account. We invested the money for him, 400 bucks consistently for about 7-8 years. And now it's done. The money is making money on top of the money on top of the money. It's just making more and more and more and more money, right? Every month, and dividends and things of that nature and growth. And now it's going to be to the point where when he graduates, he should be going to school with no debt at all. But why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because the little things that you feel like is not really going to move the needle for you are going to move the needle for you. It was money and consistency, and obviously picking the right mutual funds that we picked for him to invest. But goes back to what I was saying a second ago. If you have a 200 or 300 bucks extra that you can then put into the market or put into a vehicle that's going to make a dent in your financial future, don't think that that's a little bit of money. That little bit of money compounded is a lot of money, and consistently invested is a lot of money. Same thing works if you're paying down bills. That's just more interest that you get to keep to yourself, and there's more interest that you're not paying to the bank. And oh, by the way, it's also going to raise your credit score. So if you do want to borrow money to get a house or something like that, you'll be able to do it, and that's going to save you money as well. Good credit means less money that you're paying to the bank. So you're going to be solving multiple issues for yourself. So let's get to it, man. Doing your budget this week, I need you to make sure that we're putting that money to work. All right. So hopefully it wasn't too much, man. Like I said, I'm just trying to give you bite-sized chunks of information that's going to help you move the needle in your financial future. So let's get to it. Let's go. Wealth is a journey. We will see you next week. Peace.